everybody, it's Katie and Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Well, we just got out of a dumb, fun movie. What was it, Mike?
It was a dumb, fun movie.
It was Furious 7. There were 7 people in that crew, right? They actually did make good use of that, right?
I don't remember.
Shoot, okay, it was Paul.
I didn't count.
All right, let's count because I got the cast up. So it was Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese, Ludacris, and then the girl. Holy crap! Why did they not do that? They could have. That would have been so easy. That they only had 6 people in there. Oh wait, no. Dwayne, yeah, the Rock was in there. I'm sorry. Yeah, that totally counts. That totally counts, even though he kind of just showed up in the middle. But no.
No. He showed up at the beginning and at the end.
Dang it! They could have done like the Furious 7 coming to. They could have done so much and made it like westerny in that. Oh, whatever. It was funny. So yeah. This is the story of me going to see this. I've never seen any of these movies. It was like, I don't know, they came out when I was in high school, and like I didn't care about them, so I never watched them. But I had heard enough good stuff from people who were like, no, this is a good movie and you should go see it. And also it was like Paul Walker's last movie, and also The Rock is in it, and The Rock is delightful. So I was like, okay, I'll go see it. And all those things are true, including the fact that it's Paul Walker's last movie, and throughout the entire movie, that's all I thought of every time it was on screen.
Yeah, I was really waiting for something like him to die or some kind of.
I didn't think he was going to die, but I was wondering, because I think he shot all of his stuff, almost all of it, but I wasn't sure how they were going to handle it, or how they were going to, like, I don't know, spoiler, his character survives to the end, but they do this big, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but they do this big montage of the different movies, but specifically with all the Paul Walker stuff in it, and highly imply that he's going to go off with his family and not do any more crazy adventers with them. So I'm assuming they're just like going to vaguely mention his character occasionally, but they let Vin Diesel have this montage, or like this voiceover at the end about how it was his brother and he loves him and how he'll always be there with them.
It's never goodbye.
It's never goodbye. So yeah, again, I've not seen any of these movies, but I mean, I kind of joked on Twitter, like, how will I ever know what's going on? It's not like these movies are all about car racing and guns and butts. Also, yeah, let's talk about that. There's actually not a whole lot of like gratuitous body shots, except for 2 scenes where they were only gratuitous female body shots. You know?
Yeah, the one in the desert, and then the one in the desert.
Well, the one at the pool, like by the beach, where for some reason the super smart hacker is just playing in the water, and then one of the guys like, ooh, look at her body, because apparently we've only known this character for like 5 minutes, and we really need to show a full shot of her bikini.
We haven't sexualized her yet.
Yeah, and I'm like, that wasn't necessary, because the rest of the time she actually does some shit. Not a lot. They could have boosted up her character, but at least she does things. She is relatively competent in the things in her part of the plan. I'm just saying, they could have made her completely useless, and they gave her a little bit to do. So, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, in an ensemble cast movie, they gave her stuff to do.
Which I'm okay with that. Also, even though they totally hinted at the fact that that Ludacris and Tyrese were going to fight over her, that kind of got dropped, which thank God, because I was like, we don't need that. We don't need that, and then for her to choose one of them. So she doesn't choose either of them, and in fact, it's kind of like their whole flirting with her thing is dropped pretty quickly.
Yeah, that sort of dies in the middle of the movie.
But I think most people, at least who listen to the podcast or are on Twitter, the one thing I thought of, especially when she got into like a lot of her hacking stuff, which was super cliche action movie hacking, but I read Batgirl, and I was thinking like she'd make a really good Frankie if she can do an American accent, because she's British. But it was a black actress who I can pull up. I think she was from Doctor Who. I'm gonna look up.
You can't do it. That's not connected to the internet.
Shoot. It is Natalie Emmanuel, and I swear to God, she's been a Doctor Who actress. I think she was. Crap. The doctor companion. The companion who is a doctor. Help me. It was Tennant.
Martha Jones?
Yeah, Martha Jones. Shoot, how can I not remember that? I think she might have been Martha Jones' sister. But
oh yeah,
am I wrong?
maybe.
I think I placed her face. I don't know. This will probably be the ending credits
But then
comment.
again, I think her sister was played by multiple people.
No, she wasn't.
Wasn't it?
I don't think so, because there's only one season.
Maybe.
Anyway, I think that might be who it is. We will check though, but I definitely have seen her in something before. So we will check. Either that, maybe she was in the Bond movie. Maybe she was in
Skyfall?
In Skyfall.
Maybe.
Anyway, alright, point is, I recognize her. But she'd make a really good Frankie because, I don't know, I mean, granted, like, it's not like her acting was really focused on the hacking, but, like, I saw her hacking and I was like, ooh!
Reminds me of Frankie.
That reminds me of Frankie, one of my favorite characters in the comics right now. Kurt Russell's in this movie. So, hi, Kurt Russell. We didn't know you were going to be in this. You have
so
some
that
really...
makes 8.
I don't think he counts.
Okay, fine.
No, he was... He was, like, in there for a while. He made jokes about beer. There was the worst product placement in the whole damn movie that involved him because he was like, what was it, Dutch beer? It wasn't Dutch. Belgian beer. Belgian beer. The monks got this right. They didn't get celibacy right, but they got beer right. And Vin Diesel just goes, I like Coronas. And suddenly he pulls out a bucket of already open Corollas. And I'm like, how many brands of beer did you have in buckets just waiting with the brand on the bucket? I was like, what? And I don't think there's any other major product placement in the movie. Like, I didn't catch anything. But that just comes out of freaking nowhere. I don't know if it's a joke from the movies before, or if they really, really needed that sweet Corolla ad money. But
you drive a Toyota Corolla. That is a Corona.
Corona? I'm so sorry. That's embarrassing. That would be amazing if Kurt Russell pulled out a bucket of cars. Lord knows. Okay, Vin Diesel lifts up like a bulletproof car. So like insanely expensive, insanely heavy car, so that Paul Walker can go under and like tinker with it. But so I'm just saying, it's not that crazy of an idea that Kurt Russell pulled out a bucket of cars.
If you haven't noticed yet, these movies exist in a flexible action reality, which is about as flexible as a rubber band.
It's so bad. Okay, so I think most people who keep up with us know that we got into a car accident about a little more than a month ago. And I mean, it wasn't necessarily the worst accident that we could have been in, but it was intense enough that like Mike was worried about having concussion. I messed up my leg. I got a pretty bad pain in my leg. But we just got like hit on the side. So the whole time I'm watching this movie, and like Vin Diesel at one point is surrounded by a bunch of cars and he's on a cliff. So he decides to drive off the cliff. And this is already after they've had parachutes like parachuting down the car. So I'm like, oh, they must have another parachute. Nope! He literally just crashes the car and it just keeps flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping until basically every piece of the car is off of the car.
It's just a mangled body of a car.
He walks out clean! He has like like some scrapes on him. And I'm just like, look, I'm not asking for exact realism, okay? I realize it's an action movie. It's a movie in general. It's gonna have a lot of car chases and it's gonna be silly. But at this point, I'm just like, it's so bad. And then, like, the climax of the movie, he does something kind of similar where he just, like, flies off of a parking garage because he decides to put
a bag of grenades
on the plane, on a helicopter. So he
Don't
crashes.
question it.
He crashes the car. I mean, he basically just completely wrecks it. But so they're like, oh my God, he's dead, or they're trying to revive him, and they're like, oh no. I'm like, you've already driven off a cliff and completely ripped apart a car. You can't tell me that this one, which, yes, in any other movie would be insane to walk away from, but you can't tell me that compared to every other crazy crash that happens in this movie, that we're supposed to believe that he is in real danger. There's no way! There's no way for me to believe it. Not because of it, of comparing it to other movies, but comparing it to everything that happened in the movie. I think I might have thrown my hands up at that point. Okay.
You want to talk about the introduction of Jason Statham?
I was about to bring that up. That was the very next thing I was going to say. It's the first scene in the movie. And again, remember, I haven't seen any of these movies. So I only know so much to expect. I know racing, I know goofy, over the top.
I'm going to point out really quick here, I have seen like the first 3 or so. I think I remember possibly not seeing Tokyo Drift by choice, but that was about where I stopped watching these movies.
So how did you feel about this movie in general, or like?
It's definitely more like stunt oriented than it used to be. Like, it reminds me, like,
it takes them a very long time to get to their second driving scene, like actual, like, full driving, because there's one where it's like, it's a race, but it's like one of those straight line races, like just like race. It's just a drag race, and it's over in like 5 seconds, and then it takes an obscene long time for them to actually do some real racing. There is one where it's relatively slow chase, where it's just him following a guy, but I don't think that counts. All right, so anyway, Statham. Statham is the first scene in the movie, and it's in London, and he's looking out at a he's in a hospital. You kind of find out, but he's looking out at England, and he says something to his brother, who you quickly find out is in a coma in the hospital. Again, it's very much, I mean, I will say the direction of that scene was really good, because it gave you little bit by little bit and let the craziness, you know what I mean? It was well directed. It's the way that those shots should be directed, and whoever wrote that scene understood, because I've seen a lot of scenes where they would have ruined that.
Whoever shot that scene.
Well, shot, but also wrote it into the script like this, because that's how they would have done it. But, he says, you just see him, say, basically, I will have my revenge. I don't know. He says something dumb. But then you see these two...
That's another thing in this movie. A lot of these scenes says something dumb.
It's a lot of... I was going to say, the first
action
third...
cliches.
The first third of it was just, it was just, not action... That wasn't the word I was thinking of. What is it? Quips. Or what's the word for it?
Comebacks?
Kind of. I'm trying to think of the word. But yeah, not quips though, but where you say a thing. I can't think of it. Anyway, all right, getting back to the scene. So you see, he says, basically I will revenge you, whatever. And you see, and he's very calm, and he's very Jason Statham. And then you see these two, a nurse and doctor, huddled in the corner, and he's like, if you hurt him, or if he doesn't get better, I'm coming back for you. And he walked out. Then you realize everyone in the hospital is dead. Then you realize there's a fire going on in the, he goes down the elevator. There's a fire in the lobby. He has apparently killed everyone. There are a few security guys left, so he murders some of them. He walks out, a beam from the hospital falls down. And I look at this, and I whisper to Mike, if he was really worried about his brother's safety, maybe don't set the hospital on fire.
Or not leave him in a hospital that's crumbling into ruins.
Yeah, you're basically making it way harder for the nurse and doctor to actually take care of your brother when the building he's in is on fire. And possibly gonna fall over because you, like, made something crash. Actually, my other joke was like, "Sir, we just wanted you to sign the visitor form. There was no need for this." It never explains it either. Apparently, he just really, really was angry. The other thing is that this apparently happened from the last movie, right? So
apparently, I think his brother was the villain in the last movie. I guess.
Yeah. The problem with that is that I think that happened in 2009. Was that in 2009 or was that in?
I don't know.
I don't know. It was a few years ago though, and like also what happened in I forget if Michelle Rodriguez's character. I think she said that in the movie in 2009 was when she lost her memory, right? So I don't know if that was the last movie she was in, or if she was in the other one. I don't know. And that's the other weird thing. It's taken her an obscenely long time to get back her memory.
Yes.
So that was weird. And
one of the things about this, like, they really built her up early, and then they sort of just had her driving second fiddle for the rest of the movie.
Also, she's like, I need to go find myself.
And then she doesn't really earn back her memories either. Like, it just sort of appears at the end.
It implies that she found out in the middle. I don't know. But also, there's this whole thing where she's like, I need to find myself. She leaves. And then, like, 4 scenes later, she's back. And then she's back for the rest of the movie. I was like, what was the point of having her make the thing where she leaves? I don't know, they could have done that so much better so that you didn't think she was out of the movie the whole time. That would be like if in The Dark Knight Rises, Alfred's like, Master Wayne, you're falling apart and I can't see you do this. Well then leave, Alfred, and he leaves. And then 5 scenes later he's like, I've come back and I'm gonna drive cars for you. Let's drag race.
I'm gonna drive the Batmobile.
It just doesn't make any sense. Also, I thought Wonder Woman was in this, but apparently she wasn't in this movie. And her love interest, I think, from the other movies, died. That's the other thing. The Asian guy, who I've heard is really good in the other movies, died. He gets not one scene, he gets one shot.
He gets one shot and then his funeral.
I think he was a main character in the other movies and they completely wrote him out. I gotta wonder if he had an action scene or if he had a driving scene, anything. I gotta wonder if that was cut out.
To be fair, this movie is very long and it sort of drags in the middle.
It is, but they could have done a better job of giving him some kind of satisfactory death. Because really, it was at first I was like, is he a minor character? And then when they did the whole montage for Paul Walker, I was like, no, he's in there. Why is he, he's obviously a fairly solid character. It doesn't make any sense. So again, as someone who hasn't seen it, I will say the chemistry between the cast, they clearly, even the goofier lines, most of them land okay for being absolutely goofy. Tyrese got annoying, but I do like the fact that Tyrese also got to be the goofball. I don't know, like I said, I haven't seen the other movies. I assume that's what he's like in all of them, but I like the fact that the so-called hot guy, who is, I believe, a model, I think he actually does, he is best known for being an actor / model. I like the fact that he was the goofball compared to Ludacris.
Yeah, they had a goofball straight man thing going.
Yeah, Ludacris was good. I thought he did a fine job. I've heard he's a good actor, though. I've seen him in a couple things.
Yeah, I've seen him in things.
And then when they did his montage and his first movie, he had the giant afro. And I'm just saying, yeah, that was a good choice not to keep the afro, because that thing was... It was huge! It was ridiculous! And, yeah, but it was just weird to see the montage. So oh, right, that was his character. I wish there were still a few more female characters. There were a few, though, and they did actually pass the Bechdel test a few times. But that's what happens when you actually at least have some side characters and have plots that revolve around actual, like, things instead of entirely around guys. Because there were, like, I think it was Michelle Rodriguez and the hacker were in the chase, and she was saying, like, well, what's the next car we go to? Because she keeps getting hopped around. What's the next car we go to if this one is hit? And she's like, this is it. Which, again, it's a short scene, and I think there were a lot of moments between female characters that were really short, things like that. But a few of them actually did pass the Bechdel test, so that was kind of cool. There was, like I said, they let the hacker be a woman, so actually a woman of color, so that was good too. No, it was. I will say, it was goofy. I wish there was a little more of The Rock, but if you want to.
The Rock is one of the most enjoyable people in Hollywood. I wish there was more of him in this film. The moment that, well, there are a couple, really, but, like, the whole chase scene. There's a lot of Rock fan service in this if you really try and watch. I think most people will catch most of the stuff.
I also enjoy the fact that, like, you know, one of the people that works for him at the FBI, CIA, which one was he in? One of them.
It's like,
but she was like, hey, boss, so you thought that was too easy of a case. And he was like, yeah, I actually got to work out. And I was like, oh, so that's why you're wearing the muscle shirt and you have, like, sweat coming down you. That's not just, like, The Rock came on set and did not want to wear the costume, so he just wore what he brought in. But no, so he gets hurt towards the beginning because Jason Statham goes after him first and also gets the information on all the teammates. So he gets hurt. He gets thrown out of he gets tossed out of a window after a gruesome fight, lands on a car. He should be in a full body cast, possibly his spine broken. Instead, it's just his arm. And I think everybody in the theater was like,
his leg.
That was what, I don't think it wasn't even his leg. He could stand up immediately. It was just his arm. It was just his arm. But he needed rest, which was why he was in the hospital bed. But no, this is what happened. So, again, I mean, just that alone, that was the first time I was like, I don't think this movie is very realistic. Even Batman had, like, the Kevlar, and, like, he had something to kind of slow down it. But even then, people were like, this doesn't seem very realistic for him to not have broken any bones. And for The Rock, who again fell, like, on his back onto the
roof of
the to only have the arm cast. So anyway, time passes clearly because Vin Diesel's character goes after the guy and he makes a deal with this government guy to help get this. Like, the plot is so convoluted. In order to find the guy to find Jason Statham's character before he basically starts, knocking them off, they decide to do one last mission to find this hacker who can help with the setup. By the way, she believes him really quickly. You guys are all about loyalty. I can tell by your stereotypes. And I'm like, being loyal to each other does not mean that they're good people. Like, seriously. Oh, I trust you. You know that supervillains can be loyal to each other, right? That doesn't mean that they're... I know, like, technically, like, they could be more corrupt, but, like, that doesn't mean that they're going to be okay with you. I did like the fact that they gave her, like, I don't know, they gave her a little bit more to do because she was able to kind of pin down their deals. But anyway, all right. So there's this convoluted plot where they work with this secret government thing, which I really thought were going to end up being the bad guys, that it was going to be a big twist. That didn't happen. But they get this hacker, and then
she goes, we have to go to Abu Dhabi because that's where I sent my hard drive.
Oh my god. And then it just so happens that the person who is they never explain who he is, ever. They just say that
he's the friend.
That it's her contact. Sold it to this rich prince who put it in a car, because of course he put it in a car.
On top of the tallest building in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, so they go into this party wearing beautiful wardrobes, which was that part of it was actually quite lovely. I was just like, ooh, pretty clothes. But they end up basically doing a James Bond, Ocean's 11-esque heist thing. And then when they can't get the thing out of the car, they just decide to drive the car, and it's between the 3 towers of Abu Dhabi, and they end up going through the window, and they end up going into the next building over, and then flying through that building. And again, what is some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. And that one, just as in pure Looney Tunes-esque fashion, the third building, so like the second building they go through, but the third building they're in, happens to have a bunch of the
museum
clay
antiquities.
Yeah, museum antiquities that and you see it right before they go through the window, and you're just like, for the love of crap. And you know they're gonna do it. Like, no, the joke is either going to be that they somehow miraculously miss it, or they're going to crash through all of them. So as soon as you see them hit like a couple, you're like, oh well, they're done. That's it. That's good. They're gonna be completely crashed. But it is seriously Looney Tunes-esque. It might as well be two guys holding a stained glass window walking across the street. Or, a plate glass. Yeah, sorry. So anyway, there's a bunch of convoluted stuff. For some reason, they take the super important, when they finally get the super important code file thing, they take it with them to find the guy who's trying to take them down, because that's the smartest thing. And it turns out that he started working with the guy who wanted the tech, who is actually, and I apologize, I'm terrible at names. I'm the worst at it. Let me see. It is, crap, where is he? But it's the guy, it's the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy who does, the Star-Lord. Who? God darn it, where is he on this?
No.
No, that's not it. But anyway, so I was like, oh, so is everybody from Guardians of the Galaxy going to be in this movie? Yeah, Djimon Hounsou. I know, I'm terrible at pronouncing things. I apologize. Yeah, so he plays... Oh, also, Iggy Azalea's in it for like a hot second. I was like, well, I'm hoping she goes away after a while. So anyway, they end up... So the bad guys have the tech again.
Also, you have Wi-Fi now.
Oh, good. So the bad guys have the tech again, and it's just, the short of it is that it is so, oh, you know what, yeah, if we have Wi-Fi, we can look up her name. It's not letting me look it up, it's fine. So anyway, so it's this big showdown in LA, because of course it's in LA, because they're like, it's our turf, so we're gonna totally fucking destroy our own city. Yeah! They end up there's a virus, because of course there's a computer virus, and they hack into the system, and they have to basically do keep away with the hacker and her computer throughout the entire movie. It's not that bad. It's just kind of silly. A little silly. But the silliest part, so again, it's in LA, The Rock is in the hospital in LA, his television show is, I think it was sports, it might have been sports, gets interrupted by...
Chaos in LA.
Yeah, what can only be called a car massacre. I forget, what was it that they said? They said it in this really dumb way. Okay, we do have, first, we'll break for that. Oh shit, that's who that is! It's from Game of Thrones. That's who that was. It's not, Natalie Emmanuel, who plays the hacker, it's not from Doctor Who. She plays, Khaleesi's, translator aide person in,
Game of Thrones.
In Game of Thrones. That's where I know her from. Silly me. Oh, she was also, I think she was in Misfits, but only for like one episode. So yeah, that's where I know her from, duh. So sorry, not Doctor Who. And I still say she would make a good Frankie. Anyway, so again, The Rock. This will be towards the end of the review, because I don't think anything can top this. The Rock sees the devastation going on the news, sees that the tower, the transmission tower,
because they only have one of those,
and
everyone gets their news and their digital transmissions from that one tower.
Yes, there's no
cable or anything running,
or no Wi-Fi, no nothing. In order to the hacker cannot download the virus, which she had on hand.
And then Paul Walker has to run on foot to hack a transmission tower, a cell tower.
This is a dumb movie. Okay, but we haven't gotten to the best part. So, again, he's with his daughter in the hospital. He looks out, and he sees, chaos in the city. And I forget what he says, the one-liner. Also, that's what the word I was thinking of. This movie, the first story of this movie is just one-liners like, I don't want any more funerals between us. And well, what? You're gonna die of old age. Alright? Sorry, that's gonna probably happen. But no, there's man, we gotta go for one last ride. Lots of staring into the sun and saying what could be badass things, but aren't really that badass. So anyway, The Rock says a one-liner that I don't remember, and I don't remember it because the very next second, you see the shot of his cast, and you're like, no, they're not gonna do it. This basically, his arm is like this, and it snaps, and it falls to the ground, and suddenly his arm is okay. Casts don't work like that.
He flexes out of his cast.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that you couldn't do that if your arm was healed. But what I was thinking was, there's no way his arm healed that fast. How long were they gone? It takes more than...
He was still in the ICU. So they've been gone 3 days? You don't usually stay in the ICU very long.
It has to be more than that, because
He had a broken arm, and they keep him in the ICU?
I don't know. It was a very dumb movie. So anyway, there's a drone after some of the good guys, right? There's a drone after them, and they think they're doomed. It's actually Michelle and the hacker. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, comes a giant-ass house or ambulance, because The Rock is here, and he crashes it from an overpass to the main road, and somehow gets out completely free, and just shoots the face of the drone.
Okay, Katie skipped a couple things here. They're playing hot potato with the hacker girl, but the bad guys, instead of driving around chasing after them, they're chasing after them with a helicopter loaded with missiles and a drone copter. An actual, sort of jet
drone. You love Tyrese going first we had a tank, and then we had a helicopter, and now we have a spaceship. Actually, it's a drone. Why are you making names up? Yeah. I appreciate it when the actual characters can admit that they're in a movie that makes absolutely no sense. When they actually take a step back and question their choices.
The flexible reality they exist in.
It was just so many times when they should have died. And I'm not even talking about me going I tried so hard to not nitpick the amount of times that because it's an action movie, but this got stupid. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but that was in the back of my brain a lot. A lot. I mean, there's at one point where Paul Walker, the glass has been out of his car, and Paul Walker basically surfs his car hood while it's still driving at like 70 miles per hour. Now, luckily, someone's smart enough to go up behind his car and drive it the rest of the way. But I'm like, how is his car just not stopping or like veering over? How does he have that great of alignment with his steering wheel?
Paul Walker also runs off of a bus falling off of a cliff.
Yeah, that happens too. But that one I didn't mind so much. I don't know why.
No, I don't mind that one either.
I think it's more the cars that actually crash over several stories, where they're just ripped apart. And again, we were just in a car accident. We actually had trouble getting out of our cars and it just. Theirs is completely trash. And also, which cars blow up and which ones don't in this movie drove me nuts. Because they could flip like 50 times
and then not
have it blow up.
And then one car could just like, hit the wrong rock and then it flips around and then it all of a sudden, boom!
Yeah. I will say there was at least a few cars in this movie that did not, driven by bad guys that did not blow up. I'm just saying, they did use some restraint in that aspect. It's not like all the bad.
That maybe should have blown up exactly on impact that took a tree trunk through the through the whole car.
Oh, so
like that should have taken out the engine and
that bad guy had the greatest whoa right before.
Yeah,
whoa. And it's like, well, it's probably not going to. Oh, it's going through your entire car. Okay, it's just going, like, there's no way that you could have avoided that. In fact, we should be seeing your corpse. Okay.
Should have been impaled on that tree.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, The Rock takes out the drone, because of course he does. And I think
with an ambulance that he drove off a bridge.
And then he doubled, basically as if the drone is a zombie and he just wants to make sure, he double taps.
He shoots the eye on the drone.
Twice. And then he takes the machine gun that was attached to the drone, and it's just a giant machine gun, and that is his weapon of choice for the rest of the movie. Absolutely the rest of the movie. Oh yeah, and he does have one of the best lines where Michelle Rodriguez says, Did you send the cavalry? And he just turns and goes, Woman, I am the cavalry! And Michelle Rodriguez is like,
somehow The Rock got on foot to like this chaos is going on all over the city, but yet it's still constantly walkable.
Yeah. Well, LA, I mean, it's so small.
It's a tiny city.
It's so tiny. I mean, it's basically like a cul-de-sac. Yeah, Paul Walker running down. Totally can do this. Totally don't, even though I don't have a car. It was, so again, as someone who's never experienced this series, but has known about it quite a bit over the last 13 years?
I will say this is much more over the top and stunt heavy than like the first three. The first three, the big stunt was like driving 2 cars through a freight train.
Which now seems just pedestrian. No, there's a part where she's like, what are you going to do, Paul Walker? Even though that's not your name. But he's like, I'm gonna have to do it old school. And apparently his version of old school is making the car go low and then going under, like a, what it was those, like the pylons? Is that?
No, those were like steel pipes.
Like a truck carrying steel pipes and then just like being able to perfectly.
He drives under the undercarriage, Christmas Vacation style. Yeah,
and they act like he can just improv this, that this was a winged sort of moment. I'm like, it makes the dropping the cars safely out of the airplane and then having
them all land on a road.
Yeah. That makes that seem a lot more plausible compared to everything else that happens after this. I will give them this much. That is not the most exciting thing that happens in the movie, or the most like crazy over the top thing. So they didn't shoot their load too early to use a naughty turn of phrase. So again, I've never seen the other movies. It is I wish there were less ass shots in the very specific scenes where they just decide to show, like, an obscene amount of ass. I was even okay with the montage, but then they had to have the girl that was doing the flags, like, have her skirt sweep up and have her basically be in, like, you know what I mean? And they kept showing the shots.
They transitioned from scenes of ass shots to talking to scenes of ass shots to one-liner to scenes of ass shots.
But that was only in the one scene. Like, it got so much better when they actually got to the plot. Except for then that one scene where they just decided the hacker really needed to be in the ocean in her bikini and then walk out in slow motion and then never have it, like, be impacted again. Nothing about that. It just... And again, I know that there are people who will want to go to this movie and not care. And you might be some of them audience members that watch our videos. But it, like... It's not, I would say it's not as bad as like a Michael Bay one because they knew when to stop. But like, even if you're homaging this kind of culture where the girls are kind of scantily clad and they're all, you know what I mean? And they're all kind of everybody's very sexy. They could have still done maybe with 50% of those ass and body shots and have it be perfectly sexy, you know? Is it just me?
No, I agree. You could probably cut about 50 of them.
Plus, the scene was long enough.
Yeah, the scene was long, and the movie was already a long movie.
Exactly. They did not need, like, another 30 seconds of ass shots.
Then again...
They established the scene. They established the setting without needing that many. And again, the girl who was the,
And it wasn't even, like, a sort of, like, in, what was the time travel movie we saw earlier this year, where they did the Lollapalooza or whatever?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that where it was, like, product placement for, like, this amazing party.
No, it was just a random...
It was random, like, race wars. That's what they called it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, when I heard on Twitter, like, they brought back race wars, I'm like, you know... I'm guessing that that's not what I think it is, but, like, out of the context of the movie, that's not a good thing. Just putting that out there. That phrase is not usually a positive to be thrown around. So, if you like action movies, if you like this series, if you like The Rock, you'll probably like this. It's goofy. It is goofy doofy. If you're not super into a lot of crazy action stuff, I think it's a solid rental.
Yeah, solid rental. It's easy to laugh at this movie. It is really
and I think it
easy
knows.
to laugh at this movie. And it knows, yeah.
And I think the chemistry of the cast is what sells it compared to, say, a lot of Michael Bay's stuff, where, like, it's just not... It doesn't seem like they're having as much fun, and they don't seem to... You know what I mean? Like, I bought them all being friends.
Yeah. It's well acted in that sense.
Yeah. Even Tyrese and, like, everybody else plays off of him well enough that even though he can be kind of annoying, it does... Like I said, it wasn't the worst comic relief ever, because I've seen way worse comic relief. Even though he was getting close.
We saw Transformers, too.
Yeah, exactly. Which had, like, 4 really bad comic relief. At least 4. That was overkill. This one at least only had 1. So yeah, it was good. I would recommend it to fans of the franchise and to fans of cars doing crazy things. A rental for everybody else. So, that's about it. You got anything else to say, Mike?
It was enjoyable, fun. I don't know how fast it was.
Or how furious. I don't know, they were pretty angry that their friend died.
They were a little angry, so they might have been furious.
I'm actually mad that they didn't say, because there's this bit. This is actually something that I'm absolutely disappointed at, and shame on you, movie. There's this bit where they talk about how they need an armored truck, or like an armored, van, armored carrier, whatever, that will be in between, like, all their fast cars. And Ludacris goes, that's gonna slow us down. And Vin Diesel goes, we don't have to be this time we don't have to be fast. And I wanted him to go, we need to be furious. and they didn't. What the hell, movie? You had the moment. You had the moment to say the thing, and you didn't. In this movie, where you have The Rock just rip off his cast, not even rip it off, but just like destroy it from the inside out. You have.
Also, I think they CGI'd The Rock flexing his cast off.
They had to. What
I think you could have made a fake cast that The Rock could have flexed off.
Maybe.
He has giant muscles.
He is a very strong man, and apparently.
You just have it ready to break apart, and then The Rock could probably flex it off.
But yeah, so I'm really kind of disappointed that they didn't go for that. Besides that, I did like the movie, but yeah, way missed opportunity movie. I'm disappointed in you. All right, we'll try to do something next week. We'll see. But Katie and Mike, justplainsomething.com, and we'll see you later.